Hey traders, this is Danielle. Welcome to the free video. So today I'm going to be talking about Google. Basically what we've seen over the course of the past really couple months is that the large caps have been kind of soft. Google, however, was not. Google did pretty well. Google rallied to a new all-time high. We had a really nice weekly squeeze and now it is finally pulling back. So what can we do with it? Well, I think that overall the large caps are finally going to start to move here. You have Amazon that has been in a squeeze since all the way back in September. You have Microsoft that also has been in a squeeze since pretty much all the way back in September as well. And I think that especially based on today's price action that the large caps are going to come back into favor. And for a couple reasons. We have the Santa rally, number one, that's buying after Christmas, going into the new year. Number two, just because they've been stagnant for so long and now we're finally seeing rotation out of the COVID stocks. And number three, because they have earnings coming up at the end of January, beginning of February, and we do typically see a rally in these names going into the earnings report. So looking at Google, for me personally, I started by selling some put credit spreads down here at this 50 period simple. But I also like it for some bullish targets up at about 1900 and then about 1950 as well. So the options are pretty thin going out into the week before the earnings report. I was looking at potentially doing a 1900 butterfly, but I'm just not going to be able to get that because you see that the spreads are just incredibly wide. That's just not something that's really going to work out. But what you could do is just buy the long calls in the earnings series here. You can see there's not a ton of liquidity there either, but obviously what you would want to do is just come in as close as you can to the bid. But honestly, because the option situation is not that favorable, I think just buying the stock would be the best bet. The other thing that you could do is you could just go ahead and sell some put credit spreads. With the wide spreads that you're contending with, you just want to make sure that you pick some strikes that have a couple hundred contracts of liquidity. And then when you try to get into your spread, you just want to make sure that you are locking your little gear right here. Because you see how there's a spread between 50 cents and 225. You do not want to accidentally be getting filled at 50 cents when you're trying to sell it at 225. So all of those options are definitely a little bit illiquid, and that's why I think that buying the stock is probably just the best bet here. But other than that, you can get some decent put credit spreads, as you can see from this last one that I did. Sold it for $2.25 and it's already going for $1. So it's a pretty simple trade. But I think with these weekly squeezes and the rotation back into the large cap FANG stocks, I think that's a pretty solid plan. So also I wanted to let you know that I am going to be having a webinar tomorrow with Ophir, our friend from CML Viz. He's pretty awesome. He does a lot of really cool stuff with back testing. He also just does everything so math and technically based. So basically we're going to be going over 2019, the top setups that we used this year, and also, why those are high probability. And then what you can trade going into next year. So if you want to learn more about that, you can go to simplertrading.com/backtest. I also wanted to let you know that in my mastery program, I am going to be doing a year-end review as well. So if you go to simplertrading.com/profits, you can learn more about my mastery program. And on Wednesday, I'm going to be having a bonus session from 1 o'clock to 3 o'clock Central. And this is going to be the year-end review. Actually, wait, I think that session's at 2 o'clock. Let me check. Wednesday. Oops, sorry about that. So it's from 2 to 4 o'clock. So I'm basically going to trade the close 2 to 4, 2 to 3. And then after that, we will do our review session. So I'm going to be going over, what were the most profitable setups, what were the least profitable setups. And then in January in the mastery program, I'm going to be doing a, what are we going to do now for this year? So If you want to learn more about that, go to simplertrading.com/profits. And other than that, I will see you in the next one.